Hi there, it's David from Fliteboard, and I'm super excited to be here today with some of our Flite performance team. We've got foiling royalty here with profiler Adam Bennetts, kitesurfing world champion multiple times, Keahi de Aboitiz, and also Moona Whyte, who's also a multiple kitesurfing world champion. And these guys were all super early adopters in fliteboarding. What got you into it, and what sort of drew you to this in the first place? Because I know that Keahi and Moona, you guys were there right at the very beginning when we had prototypes.
Yeah, I think for me, I was just kind of always very interested in foiling from the early days. I got into it kite surfing originally, and then when the surf foiling craze started to come around, I kind of knew I wanted to be a part of it. I was always just drawn to the fact that you can get out and get above the water. It's such a unique feeling, and being able to go out and explore such picturesque locations and cruise around. You can ride waves, you can enjoy the ocean in all sorts of different ways, and just fun to have that option to cruise around.
Cool. What about you, Moona?
Yeah, I remember the first time that we fliteboarded with you down at the river, and it was really cool just to see a new way to foil, basically. A really new experience to be able to go out in the water and have fun even when it was flat.
Cool. And I know, Adam, you know, you're a little bit later to the party, but I know you've been really enthusiastic about this and see a lot of potential long term. I mean, what sort of drew you into this?
Yeah, the first time I saw it was Simon actually riding the river in Ballina, and it's just like the most perfect foiling wave ever, and just another dimension to sort of surf foiling. I like to sort of tackle the waves and try and get as critical as I can in the crazy parts of the wave. Now,
some of the people watching this haven't foiled before. I mean, we'll have some that have. So can you just talk a bit about just the feeling of foiling? Just being above the water on a foil.
Yeah, I think one thing that's great is, in my opinion, fliteboarding is actually the easiest way to learn to foil. Because you actually control it yourself, you're not relying on someone else, you can get a feel for the power and you can actually control the speed. So I'll find even people without any kind of water sports experience, it's something that anyone can figure out, go out and take a lesson and give it a try and just kind of get a feel for what we've all come to love so much.
Yeah, I totally agree. We took a few older guys out a few weeks ago. Within no less than an hour, they were all up and foiling. A couple of crazy crashes at the start when they had no idea what was going on, but just with the smallest bit of coaching, they were just up and foiling, and just the smiles on their faces are it's like the best way to best introduction into foiling, I think. It's
pretty amazing like that. I think I don't know, I lost count of how many people I've taught to foil, probably at 500, but they can go from zero water sports experience, to foiling continuously, within an hour. It's pretty incredible. And then you've got guys like you guys that are in the water every single day, and it's still engaging and super fun. I've
been doing it now for 3 years, just foiling in general, and every day I learn something new.
With the Fliteboard, it makes it so easy and so accessible that you can just get on it and learn right away, and then you really get that feeling of flying pretty much.
And what are some of your more memorable fliteboarding experiences?
Probably the first time that we had the Fliteboard in Fiji was pretty awesome. Super blue water, and we're just cruising along this reef. It's completely quiet and it's completely smooth. Just really surreal experience.
There's still some of that content popping up 3 years later.
Yeah.
There was that shot of Keahi sitting on the foil flying through the reef, and it ended up on the Daily Internet or something. That little shot of Keahi sitting there like Aladdin, and the shot of you as well riding along the reef.
Yeah.
It's memorable for me. I think Keahi, you were filming Moona just from an iPhone, and it got posted, and everybody thought it was fake. I don't know if you saw that. The way the light was saying, her hair's not moving, it's CGI. And we just kept writing back saying, no, it's real, it can't be real, it's CGI.
I was actually going really slowly in that video, which I think that's what confused people.
So Adam, what about you? What are some of the memorable moments that you've had?
Yeah, my most memorable moment would have been the shoot we did in January for Series 2.2 launch. It was quite big, overhead, double overhead in some of the sets, and just riding some of those waves unpowered. That was with the True Glide prop, and letting go of the trigger and dropping in on some of those waves was just such an adrenaline rush, because it's never thought you could ride waves that big on e-foils.
It's pretty nuts. So I was up in the car park flying my drone thinking, I'm glad I'm flying the drone today.
Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, to be able to ride proper waves of consequence was, and not die. it was like really cool.
You look like you were holding it together pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah. No, it was like that was awesome.
It's pretty amazing, that ability to go and explore.
Yeah, the exploration's awesome.
It turns flat water into surfing, which is great. So I mean, I'm always trying to find a way to surf waves, or to be able to take that and carve around in flat water is epic.
No down days.
No down days. No time for rest.
You know, an hour ago, you guys are riding around in the river here at Sanctuary Cove, so there's not a wave in sight.
We're still having a mad time.
So getting a bit more technical, you know, what's your preferred setup on a flight board? They've got a bunch of different boards and wings.
I think I've come down to just a couple wings that I kind of keep in my go-to setup, which is the Flow S1300. For flat water, I find it's just such a versatile wing. But for cruising around, carving on flat water, it's something that I think anyone can use as well and just get the most fun out of most situations. And then if I start getting into waves, or I want that added little bit of efficiency, the 1100 Flow is kind of the go-to. It's a little higher aspect, really has that glide. You can get on a wave, kill the power, and just surf, and kind of between those it keeps me pretty busy. And then the Ultra as well, I mean, having that smaller board, lighter weight, it just gives you so much more performance, which is an amazing feeling once you get used to it.
What about you, Adam?
Yeah, I'm basically on the same page as Keahi. I like the Ultra with the 1100 Flow,
Yeah.
and the 245 stabilizer.
Yeah.
That's nice and loose and
You like a
flowy.
bit more shim though, don't you? A bit more
Yeah.
pitch stability.
Kind of like a lot of front foot pressure when I ride. I like to sort of be able to lean forward into my turns.
What about you, Moona?
I actually kind of like the Pro. It's just a little bit floatier, so it's not hard to get up. It's just like something cruisy and easier. And then it still turns small enough to maneuver. And then I kind of like the Flow S1300. Still has a lot of lift, but I'm able to turn it still.
Actually, one thing I'm really looking forward to is our new app, because there's a leaderboard on there. So I'm really looking forward to seeing, getting a bit of competition going as a Dr. Evil laugh, you know, and seeing who can get that longest wave with the True Glide. But in terms of different riding styles and things, you know,
I actually really like riding powered through waves too, like keeping that trigger on and really carving through your turns, and you're just coming out of the turns with so much speed, because you know, gravity coming down the face and power, like motor, it's just crazy G-forces, and yeah, just the adrenaline is just crazy when you ride out of one of those turns. It's just, your head's just exploding.
I feel like power level 1 is always kind of a good one on waves too, because it's just enough to keep the prop spinning.
I agree, yeah.
And it just gives you that little bit more forward speed. It's a little bit more front-footed pressure, like he says. But if you do want to get that feel of just gliding with the motor off, it shifts the weight back a little bit. I feel like you can actually turn maybe a little bit tighter. It's just a different feeling, and just make the most of whatever the conditions throw at you is always pretty fun.
I suppose the great thing, you know, with True Glide Prop is you got the option of both. You know, I mean, I'm quite obsessed with trying to get as many waves as I can with no power, but it is a different feeling.
Yeah, I'm not doing any crazy turns or getting into any huge waves yet, but I have a lot of fun just in flat water, even just tiny waves, and being able to ride forever and then just kick out and go back out to the next one. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
And what about, like, you guys have got a lot of things in your quiver, especially you two, right? Because you kite surf, prone surf, sup, you know,
Wing foil.
wing foil, surf, you know, short board, long board, you know. So what are the days that Fliteboard's really epic for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's just nice to have the option, I think, mostly when it gets flat, because I mean, before it might have been a day off.
What's challenging about Fliteboarding? How do you sort of push yourself and challenge yourself?
The experience of foiling is like the flow of everything, you know, that's just kind of almost graceful and a bit of a finesse to it, and yeah, just trying to make all that flow work in with like bigger waves, and that's just the beauty of foiling, I guess.
You know, I've always viewed it in sort of any sport, but particularly in water sports and particularly in surfing. You know, you've got kind of like pioneers that want to try everything and do everything, and then you've got the purists that just sort of stick to one discipline. And obviously both have got are important, but both got a place. But you know, I suppose being a new sport, there's detractors of things like fliteboarding. What do you think about that? And so what's your response to those people that sort of, I suppose their view is, well, you know, what's that, and should that really be a thing, you know?
I mean, I think for me, it's just all about maximising whatever conditions are thrown at you. That's why, I mean, I grew up in Noosa, which is gets really good waves on its day, but it might only happen a few times a year or not very often. So I grew up longboarding, I got into kite surfing, I got into foiling, pretty much just everything to kind of make those down days more appealing, and it just kind of circles back to fliteboarding as well. Now the flat days are fun, and I mean, for me, I still like surfing on a pumping day. It's my favourite thing to do, but having all the other sports just allows me to have a similar amount of fun in conditions I would never have fun in, and I think that's why generally people that do everything, they're going to be happier. It's easier to go on trips, and you're not going to get skunked, and I mean, a lot of people got into foiling for that reason. I'm sure fliteboarding is kind of the same.
Well, I just say, don't knock it until you try it.
Yeah.
You know, like people say, and you're like, have you tried it? Like, how about you have a go? And you know, there's no better feeling than going through a turn, like on a wave, or you know, at speed. It's just the G-force and the speed is like, you have to ride like a 10-foot wave to get that same feeling. You know, surfing. Where you can get it on a 2-foot wave or a 3-foot wave.
And I think that's it. I think for me, it's like if it's really about that feeling and being out on the water, you know, like you don't even have time to think about these sorts of things. You just go and do it.
Yeah, you're just having fun. We took Adam Melling out. You know, he was on the tour for a few years, and took him out. He was hooked on it straight away. You know, like Dean Morrison's on. You know, hooked on it now. Parko's on it. Like everyone's. You know, all these top, you know, world tour surfers are all just like
and
frothing.
of course Wilco as well.
Wilco loves it. Like Tommy Carroll's like, you know, loving it. Barton Lynch, and they were kind of the pioneers back in the day. You know, Tom Carroll was, you know, he was a, you know, pioneer world champion, and now he's like foiling, you know, every couple of days. He's just frothing out like.
You see in Hawaii, and a lot of the pro surfers are turning down fun surf and driving 40 minutes to the other side of the island to go and surf this onshore mushburger on a foil. So it's, I mean, I think that speaks to how appealing it is to some of those guys.
I've got a Fliteboard in the back of my car, like all the time, and I can just have a fix whenever I want it. You know, like if I wake up in the morning and I've got a meeting at 10 and it's like, oh, I've got a gap there, I know I can go fliteboarding. Where, you know, if I'm going surfing, I've got the conditions have got to be right. If I'm going kite surfing, the conditions have got to be right, and then I've got to set everything up with kiteboard and everything else. And with this, I can literally take it out of my car, stick it in the water, ride it for 40 minutes. You know,
you got your fix,
and then I'm sitting in a cafe an hour later. So
good.
It's
I'm sure it changes your mood. It gets you out and happy to go to work 100%. After that.
And that's it. We had a customer actually tell us that he thought it was a cure for depression and anxiety, because it's just that because it makes you so present. You know, 100%. It's like one of those things you can't be thinking about stuff.
You've got to be in the moment,
because you're totally, especially with the balance. I mean, you're really balancing there,
100%,
and feeling the water, and
100%.
You're really connected with it. On that note, and I know this is something you're passionate about, Moona, but so this week we won a Green Product Award, which is great. It's an electric craft. You know, as humans, we want to have fun and we want to do things and push new boundaries, and so we're really excited that this is sort of showing what's possible on water.
Fliteboard is like such a great idea, like using the efficiency of foils like with batteries and making it electric is just opening up a whole new world for the ocean industry.
I was in San Francisco literally last week, and we had caught up with some of our VIP customers over there and other people, and there were some guys there that are working on foiling cargo ships, and they've got sort of small prototypes and things.
You can scale that up. That would be amazing.
And that's using hydropower instead of electric power, you know, so it's pretty exciting. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw someone saying that e-foiling was going to be a thing 10 years ago, you'd think they're crazy. So I mean, who knows what's possible in the future.